his dream and aspiration. Then we got to America and found out that there was a lot of challenges. Everything from settling down, buying a house, buying a car, renting, everything was a problem for immigrants. So we realized that there was so much more that we could do, and we felt like there were 1 million, 2 million other people facing the same problems. What are we going to do about it? Rather than just wait and just observe it, we want to do something about it. And that's how we started. Then we found out that beyond thinking about how to settle people who are just arriving in America, what about those that are still back home, who actually want to move, who are in the hands of one agent or the other, one marauda or the other? Like, if I ask you to raise your hand here, if you have lost money to agents before, I'm sure there will be a couple of hands here, or at least one person who has lost money to agents. Canada, UK, US, we pay these people who have not been able to help themselves. Because that's the difference. When people ask me what the uniqueness is between Vesti and others, I always say, wherever we want to take you to, we've been there. Like, I don't need any other, passports other than the American passport. I don't need more. I don't need any other, citizenship, But I was telling my co-founder yesterday, I said, there are some of our customers who want to go to certain places, and because of them, we have to go and get the passport of those countries, just so that we can show you that it's possible. Because it's one of the strongest ways. Like, if I knew that one of the key things that you just need to show people in business is, hey, look, I've done it, and it means you can do it. And I didn't do it just because I'm some privileged kid, didn't necessarily have all the privileges in life. So if I want to sell St. Kitts and Nevis to you now, if I want to sell Dubai Golden Visa to you, if I want to sell UK Innovator Visa to you, if I want to sell any of those things, I'm not just going to sell it off the paper. Minimum is, if I don't want to stress myself, then I'll call my executives and say, okay, one of my executives that is a Canadian citizen, or that recently got a Canadian PR, that's the person we've asked to push this, so you can see the reality of it. So we started pushing the O1 visa, which is how I moved to America, and we started pushing the EB1 visa, started pushing all of those visa types. And what we're trying to do is to look for ways that are easy for people, that are inherently easy. Do you know Nigeria, despite our literacy rates, we are one of the most educated and well-read people in the world. In countries like America, the default is to finish high school. The default is not to go to college. That's why when you hear about stories of Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, all of these guys who dropped out of college, it wasn't seen as their parents already knew that, if you drop out of college, it's not a big deal. Once you get, that's why high school graduation is a big deal in America. So I'm going somewhere. You're wondering, how does he want to tie it together? So one afternoon, a young lady who is the younger sister of one of my friends from Akure that went to FUTA, right? She just told me she's in Dallas, Texas. I said, how? He said, oh, she came with the H-1B visa. KPMG had just hired her to come to America. And then I went to see her, drove her around the city, showed her around town and all of that. And it just occurred to me that the minimum requirement for the H-1B visa, it wasn't this year, so 2 years ago, the minimum requirement for the H-1B visa is a bachelor's degree or an HND. And you know how many bachelor's degree holders are in Nigeria? We have as much graduates as the eyes can see. As many graduates, 4.5 million. People with master's degree. With the margin of error, of course, but it's just there. And all you need to do is just get into a lottery program. And it wasn't a lottery before. It wasn't a lottery before. Because they take only 65,000 people every year, with an additional 20,000 people if you have a master's degree from the US. Before, you didn't have up to 80,000 people applying for this, so it was not a lottery. It means that anybody who you filed for an H-1B was going to get it. But later on, when this thing got popular, especially with the Indians and the Chinese people, they started rushing it. Rushing it so much so that you now have 250,000 people applying every year. So they have to turn it into a lottery. But it's a lottery with very high chance. And up until recently, I never really understood what such a high chance it is. Do you know that if we told you today that, okay, there's a plane outside, and the US government has given us a passport for one person out of 100 people in this room today, I can just give you an example. Will it still be worth it for you to leave your house to come here? It will be worth it because 1 out of 100, that could be you. Now, if they say 1 out of 10, is that not going to be more interesting? The H-1B visa has about 30% success rate, like 25 to 30%, meaning that if 10 people apply, you know that 3 of you will arrive in America before the end of this year. We don't like to tell people what is not. It's a lottery. When they pick team, there are people that were not selected. When he was selected, there were people that were not selected. So it's a lottery program. But we are certain that out of 1,000 or so people that were put, over 240 were selected. And I would take that odd any day. I'll take that odd any day. So much so that some people got selected and then their spouse was selected too. I mean, you haven't heard that, right? Like, they picked somebody and then they picked the wife too. I'm like, what kind of family is this one? You guys are very lucky. I know, right? They both got into the pool. They both applied differently, which is another thing I would encourage anybody here who is married. Like, you want to increase the odds or the chances of your family. First thing is at least get one person in first, so that you don't miss out entirely. But once you have registered the first person and you feel like you still have the resources, just put the second person. So you got into the pool, and the other beautiful thing is, you've heard about the Canada pool, right? Anybody here, you've been in Canada pool before? I was there. I went there 2-3 years. I went there about 2 years. And I got into America. It was when I got to America 6 months later. Then I was selected in the Canada pool. So I was like, okay. But you know the good thing about that is that if I wasn't selected to go to America, it means that I would not have spent 6 months more in Nigeria. That's why for any of your migration journey, you must fail-proof it with like other options. When people tell me I want to move abroad, I'm like, I'm a work like they say, I'm doing one process. I'm processing. Have you heard things like that before? I'm processing. This guy is processing for 5 years. Why? Because you wait for one to fail, then you do the other, then you do the other. Like, it will take your time. Versus like looking at, okay, this is a sure route, then I'm going to back it up. If I'm not going to be here, then I'll be here. If I'm not going to be, I had like 3 backups. If I was not in America, I'll be in Canada. If I wasn't going to be in Canada, I was going to be in America for school. If I was not going to be in America for school 1, I'll be in America for school 2. Then if I was not going to be in any of those 3, I was going to be in Ghana. Work permits. Oh yes, that's how fed up I was about Nigeria. Even though I had a fantastic job, but I was just like, you can't be paying people like this. You can't be, this can't be my potential. So you get into the pool. The other interesting advantage of it is that everything happens within a 6 to 8 months period. So ultimately, the lottery happens every March. It takes only 30 days. So the waiting time is not, once you hear that we put you in the lottery like this, just wait 30 days. In fact, for people who register late, who register like on the 26th of that month, it's like 5 days before the result is out. They do the lottery, 1st of April, you hear your result. You see whether you've been selected. Yes, there is a supplementary list when if they don't get the total number of people, let's say for example they selected 65,000 people, but not those 65 that were selected, it's like an invitation to apply, eventually went through with the process, then they will run a supplementary so they can meet up with that quota that they need. So they did that this year, but let's forget about supplementary for now. So apart from, there's no much explanation that we can do that you have not already seen online, that you can't already read. Anybody who has a bachelor's, has an H-1B, has gone to serve, you have this knowledge to be able to say, okay, this makes sense. You have the US government website to validate. My colleagues will be here, they will do a demo for you to show you how exactly to do the registration. Today they've given you vouchers because we started announcing this on August 1st. We announced it August 1st, early registration. We opened it till September 5th. And that early registration came at a certain price point because we wanted to subsidize it for people. By September 5th, we announced that the price has changed. When I was coming down from as I was coming on the flight, it came to my heart that for everybody who is going to come out in Lagos during the day, in the afternoon, without going to work, missing work that day, or just taking permission to come or anything, or maybe those who attend the evening session, because we still have a session in the evening, I'm going to make sure that I talk to the management to get them the pricing that we did for the early registration. And that's why they gave you those vouchers. But it's not going to last. It's not going to last for long. If you take advantage of it within 2 or 3 days, you'll be able to actually do the registration for that amount. If you don't do it in 2 or 3 days, it's still fine. because you will still be able to register, just that you register at the higher amount. So because it's still open until September 30th of this year. So you can go on and, for example, somebody may say, I'm not able to gather the money in time, but I know that I'm going to get it done. That's still fine. We're doing all of this awareness and answering all of these questions so that you can get in sometimes by September 30th. But if you have that voucher, you want to make sure you use that so that you can save yourself over $300 in the registration. Whatever payment you are making covers, I can see you blessing, whatever payment you are making covers government registration, the lottery registration itself, and vested fees, and the recruiting fees as well. Because for the H-1B visa, there has to be an employer that is filing for you. The employer, we already partner with employers of record, that's what they are called. So employers of record, they're going to file for you, to provide their company details for you to be able to come to America as a US worker. The good thing about the visa type is that it's not restricted, meaning that you don't have to work with just that company. You can do an H-1B transfer to another company. You can decide to do another type of work. But at least you're coming in not as a visitor. Nobody's asking you, when are you leaving? You can buy one-way tickets. You know what I mean? You can, yes, because as a worker, you can buy one-way ticket. You can now come back home and travel to America with a one-way ticket. You don't essentially have to buy return because you are not a student visitor. You are not even students. Sometimes they allow them to buy one-way as well, depending on if it's a multi-year program. But visitor, they will never allow you to buy one-way. You must show when you are coming back, right? But this one, nobody is asking you. You can buy a house. You can, you have a social security number. You can get credit card. You can do all kinds of things. You can participate in that economy just because you are now on a work visa. And the commitment of our organization is not just to you, it's to the future generation. We want to build such a stellar record. And that stellar record, the goal of it is to be able to make sure that we don't disappoint, that we are seen as a trusted brand of choice for mobility. Now, it's not only Nigerians. I just came back from Manchester. I was in Manchester and Birmingham. I was in Toronto in Canada doing this same thing. Like, it's not only people in Nigeria that are doing this. It's people from the UK, people, I can show you the breakdown. We've had people from South Korea, from Turkey, from Kenya, from the United Arab Emirates, from the United Kingdom who are applying for this same thing as well. And there is nobody has an edge over the other. It's just lottery, just pure luck. You need to see people who were selected in this year's lottery, like unbelievable even for them. They say, wow. Because they thought that the diversity visa lottery, which is what everybody is very familiar with, this thing has closed now. Maybe they are not doing lottery again. But this is a work visa lottery. It's there. USCIS, any website in the US that has .gov is from the government. And all you just need to do is to validate it. We know that we still have a journey to go to. On the radio yesterday, they asked me what challenges do we face. I said, the first challenge is that these 419ers have done so much harm that you have to do so much work to be able to remind people that not everybody is out there to cheat you. But it is understandable. When people, my co-founder, he's a lawyer, and he doesn't have time for all this. You know me, I dance on social media, right? As some people have said. He doesn't have time for all this. Like, people will chat me up on Instagram and be cussing me out and say, they don't know me. They're just like, this is fake, this is not true. He doesn't even know you. So it takes some time when we have beautiful people who can testify, you know how many people will now move. Hopefully you're not one of them, but even if you are, it's fine. You know how people will now move, and after moving, they don't even want to tell anybody. They don't even want to mention what happened. They don't even want to. So it takes a lot of confidence and just share, sometimes just taking life lightly to be like, you've done it, nothing will stop me. If God says I will go, nothing will. You know what I mean? But some people, they will cover, they will even get to America 1 year, they don't want you to talk to them, they don't want to talk to anybody, they don't want, they're still in the euphoria of, is this real, is this not real, I don't want anything to change it for me, it is real. I've heard people online say that I should stop telling people about how I got a green card, I did this, it's nothing. America doesn't care about all that. As long as you know that you're not doing anything that is, strange or that's going to get you in trouble, Anyways, I don't want to take much of your time. My colleagues are here. They're going to do like a demo that shows you how to do the registration. It's very simple. All you need is your international passport. We prefer that you do it on your laptop, but also you can do it on your mobile. You just have your passport there. You can upload it. You upload your passport. You put your name and details. It shows you the payment method. There are two payment methods. You can pay in USD if you have a card that is a dollar card, or you can pay in Naira. You just select Naira. Or you can pay with other currency by selecting others. Also, if you have, some of us have sponsors. If you have a sponsor abroad, an uncle, an aunt who has said, just go to their workshop, see if they are real. Don't worry, I'll pay. call them, you can send them the link as well. They should put your name, not their name. Otherwise, they're the one that selected the lottery. They should put your name in it and register you. Normally, the price has gone up to $1,000 and it covers the entire lottery process. However, for those of you who are here today who got the voucher, those who are coming later will not get the voucher, unfortunately. For those of you who got the voucher, you get to save about $300, so you pay $715 or thereabout. So if you take that on within 48 hours or so, I believe that's 48 hours, you will be able to get out. Otherwise, it's fine. As I said, the registration will still be on until September 30th. And once you do that, try and encourage other people, your siblings. You may not be selected, and then your sibling is selected. You don't know. Like I'm not even like happy right now. It's what it is. Like, you know. So don't just put yourself and say, "Oh, this is my chance." Try to get other people in it as well. And once you do that, you know, then you can sign up on Vesti. When you sign up on Vesti, the goal of that is for you to be able to track your progress and to be able to see other benefits that you have. You know, you can take loans, you can begin to save for your flight ahead of time. You know, if you have a transaction account with us, by faith, exactly. You can do a transaction account with us. If you do that and you're just saving and all of that, we don't keep money. We are custody with Providence Bank. If you continue to do that saving and all of that, you'll get the ability to get a loan eventually when it's time. You know, I've seen people now who they've been selected. There's a family of 5. They need to raise about 13 million or so to buy tickets. Just there below. You know how it is? It's where Nigeria is now. But imagine if they had been saving for it, you know, they can take about it. They have been using our platform, they can get loans that cover those kind of things. So these are all the different advantages that they're going to tell you. There's enough time. Agbaje is here, Bumi is here. I'm also around. I'll step out for a bit. I have a radio show. But all of us are here to answer your questions, you know, and to learn more about what your fears are, what your challenges are, what your concerns are, and every way that we can help. I hope that's been helpful to somebody. Yeah, we don't plan to take. You know, it's when you don't know what you're doing, you talk, you talk too much. There's no need. We just want to guess. We'll take some questions. Can I take some questions? Like 1 or 2? 2. All right. So 2 questions, and then we can go.
Yeah, my name is Leon. Just a quick one. For people that have registered, the $300 voucher, can it work for the next payment?
Can you use the $300 voucher for like the petition stage?
Yes.
Unfortunately, no.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish we could do that. But there could be something, but not now. There could be something that come up for that. I don't know. Maybe somebody gets excited, or we get a grant from the government, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, but that's a great question. Yeah. So you've actually registered. You just came to see us. Say, oh, these people I registered with, are they real? Yeah, one of them. Okay, so that's someone here who has registered for this year as well. So, I mean, that could have been an interesting thing, though. You know, could have emailed people and say, I know you've registered, but if you wanted to see us, you can still check out. Maybe Bumi can do that for the evening. Oh my God! Wow, state. Wow, that's not outside Lagos State. All of us are together. But yeah, I get your point.
Good morning. My name is Faith. I want to ask, if you had entered the lottery before,
yes,
and you were not selected, so is it that you need to like re-register again?
That is correct. You need to register again. Yes. So if you were in that lottery for this year and you were not selected, just make sure you register early for this one. Register early. The reason we are doing early registration, have I told you? The reason early registration is that we returned a lot of people's money this year because we couldn't register them. We tried everything. Our team sat on the floor, slept in hotels, you know, did everything. Even me, I registered people myself, everybody, but we couldn't. So that's why we're starting registration early, because this year it looks like we'll have maybe about 10,000 people. So the early we do that, the better. There's no country cap for this stuff. India has been enjoying it for years, no country cap, meaning that they can't limit and say, oh, there are too many Nigerians. No. So we need to get as many people as possible into the pool. The US needs, you know, these skilled workers. The US is short on talent, and Nigerians are very talented to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. One last question.
Okay, so I've actually been selected for the stop.
For which year?
This year.
Okay, then what happened?
Well, I have one question. Not actually.
Okay, you recently selected supplementary?
Supplementary.
Hey, congratulations, we have a selected person in the house. Congratulations. These are the actual lucky people. You know what I mean? You know, I know the actual lucky people because they didn't pick you in the first stream and then, you know, God now pick your call.
So I just ask a question. After being selected, you've gotten the work permit. What's the easier route from this work permit to green card?
Green card. It's a very easy route. So there are, you know the validity of this H-1B visa is 3 years, right? They're renewable for another 3 years, making 6 years. So the idea is that by the time you use the first 3 years, you would have had like 3 tax, returns, filing taxes, which is a popular thing in America. Even if you don't pay, even if you don't owe the government, you still have to file and say this is what I've done for the past year. So you would have had all those. You'll have had rents. You'll have lived in a place for 3 years. You'll have had all the things that are required to file for an employment-based green card. So typically, people begin to file for their green card in their 4th year. So once they renew their H-1B for the second time, most times they can. So within 3 to 4 years, you can get your green card. And it's usually a 10-year green card. So you get a 10-year green card, you stay on that 10-year green card for another 3 to 5 years, and then you get a citizenship. All right? That's if you don't find the love of your life in the middle of the process. If you genuinely fall in love in the middle of the process, even in year 1, you can become a green card holder. If you marry a citizen or you marry another green card holder. All this else, no more, nothing. You just, from there, this sister, she has found her pathway already. She's like, what are you now saying? Yeah, I'm like, you are perfect, very great question. All this ends, you're on your way straight to citizenship. Once you genuinely fall in love, mark the word, genuinely. Yes.
International.
Yes.
Does that in any way give you more chance?
More chance.
You go to the H-1B registration that is above the 1 million immigrants, then it brings you here, you enter your details, you make payments, then you get an email from us. So that is for the unauthenticated. So the next one will be for the authenticated method. It means to bring down please. Let's start. No, please. Go back, please. Good. So if you have an account with Vesting, let's say you have created an account on Vesting, then you are going through the authenticated method. This means you are a Vesting user, you have an account with them, we have your details. So to access your account, you go to wevesting.com, then you see the sign in button. So when you click the sign in button, it brings you here to the welcome bar screen or the sign in screen. So you enter your Vesting account details, you can see the required details, you enter your email and your password, then you click the continue button. So it is loading. So when you click the continue button, it brings you to our dashboard. If you are a Vesting user, if you have used Vesting app if you have used the Vesting web app, you'll be familiar with this. This is our dashboard. This is showing you the services we provide and all of that. So from here, you go to pathways. The pathways feature is the feature for people to move abroad. If you want to move abroad, you can find like the various ways to move abroad on our pathways dashboard. So you click the pathways. So when you click the pathways, it brings you here. So you can see available pathways. Then you now scroll down till you can see the H-1B lottery or the H-1B visa registration. So you scroll down, please. Good. So you can see the various visa types we have: USO1 visa, USED1 visa, and the rest. So our business here is the USHB1 visa. So you can see the start application button. So you click the start application button. So before you start the application, you need to read all these details. You can see, we want to assure or want to ensure you have read the details. That's why we have the certification button there. So you need to take your time to read all this, to be aware of what you are trying to do. So once you are done reading all the details, then you click the I agree to Vesting stamps, then you can now click the proceed button. So you can see this was where we started the other time for the unauthentication. So we are back to the same place. You enter your details. So when you enter the details, so let me give you time. You enter your details. So you're still in the process of entering the details. So over there, the cursor that is moving is just showing the different payment ways. You can pay in USD, you can pay in Naira. So any wallet you have, you can use to make your payments. So this is the payment modal. This is where you can enter your payment details, your full name, and all of that to complete the payment. But we'll go back to the information section again. So it can display entering the personal information from you. So you can see this one too is comprehensive. If you want to learn about the filing companies or the recruiting companies, you can scroll down, then you can see about Open Labs and the other company we have. So you can read about them. Yes, please.
Okay, I'm asking so I remember when the CEO was talking about if you have someone, for example, that wants to pay for you. So where's the area for payment, or where's the link? Where's that going to be? Do you need to send it to someone?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay, so you got to the area where it was time for payment.
Yes.
And it's either if I'm not paying for myself, let me use myself as an example. I'm not paying for myself. I have my brother or someone who's going to pay for me, and the person is not in Nigeria.
Okay.
What link am I going to send to the person?
Oh, okay, so
make
we
payment, or am I actually just going to tell the person this is the website, go make payment, do all the work? I don't know.
Yeah, so for the payments, if someone is paying on your behalf, you can always get a payment link that you can send to the person. So the person makes the payment on your behalf.
Yeah, but I still have to do all those completion of forms and everything.
Yes.
Or the person has to do it. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so you can do it yourself, or you just tell the person to do it for you, then the person makes the payment. But let's say this is my portal, or this is your portal, you are doing it yourself. If you have filled your details, then you can get a payment link that you send to the person, then the person makes the payment. Or you can give the person the account details, then the person...
The back-end mode of payment, you want someone in the US to pay for you. As long as it is confirmed, they will mark you paid with your email address. So anytime you log in with that particular email address, you have access. Anytime you log on, you have access to it.
Also, don't forget that we encourage you to do this on your laptop, on the desktop, preferably. It makes sense, and for visuals, and you're able to capture everything at a go. Of course, you can do it on the mobile, but we strongly encourage you to do it on the laptop.
Then for the website, for the voucher that is being given, where is the option of using the voucher?
Amazing question. So for everyone that's signed in here, don't forget that when you were coming in, there was a registration. So everyone will get an access link to get started after this program. So it is with that link, once you log on, you will see the discounted price.
What did you tell us?
72. I was able to plead for 24.
72 hours.
72 hours.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Bumi. So we are in the process of entering the personal information. So like you did the other time, you select this, the recruiting company. So like I mentioned earlier, you can read about Coven Works. Each recruiting company we have, you can read about them here. And you can also make your research online. Go to Google, research about them. You'll see everything.
And there's a video just at the top they can also watch.
Watches.
So we have some resources there that can also guide you, and you can get more information.
So the next thing is to upload your passport data page, your international passport data page. So once you do that, then you can save the section and
that's the video I was referring to. And all this information, please read those information there. It's important you read them.
so we save the section to enter the lottery. So you can see this is letting you know you have submitted to vesting. And you can see the process, submission, processing, so you can always like monitor the progress as you go. You can track it from here. So that is it.
All right, please let's give a round of applause. That's a wonderful session. I hope this was very, very clear, like walking you through that. So there are two things I want us to note. He did an authenticated process and the unauthenticated. Like, if you don't have an account with Vesting, like you've not created an account, you've not signed up with Vesting before, you can do this easily via the wevesting.com, and you come to that H-1B page, you start the process and you register. Or alternatively, you sign up, download the Vesting app, create an account, and when you go there, under pathways, you see the H-1B and you start the process. So either whether you have an account with Vesting or not, you can get into this application process. I hope that summary covers everything essentially. All right, so we will take questions now. We're running, the time is not our friend at this time, but we have been so super excited to have all speech here. I think you all deserve a round of applause this morning. Like I really love the patience, and you've been an amazing audience, I must say. And the questions and the engagement have been quite helpful. So I have my friends here, myself, Okwa is also here, some key Vesting team members are here to answer some of your questions, and we'll wrap up the session with a photo session just right at the auditorium there. So if you have questions at this time, please signify by raising up. So we just give ourselves numbers, so we don't just keep on like that without having the time. We are not giving time options. So I'll give you number one, who's question. Who else has a question? Number two, question. I think Mr. Olusola already answered most people's questions earlier, but we have two people, three, perhaps one more, and that will be all. Any other person question? Four. All right, thank you so much. Five, all right. So number one.
Wrap up on my questions. First, I want more clarity on the bachelor's degree and the work you are going in for, well, the company you are applying to. Okay, and secondly, in case you have a passport that will be expiring probably in the next 1 year or 2 years, can you still use it to apply? Then, okay, that's it for now.
All right, Bumi, do you want us to take all the questions, or you just?
So the company, I would say it again, is not offering you a job. It's only placing you in the lottery to get the H-1B visa. The minimum requirement, part of the requirements for the H-1B visa is that you need an employment to come into the US, right? If you get a job today, in fact, I'm the happiest to work with you. Why? All I need to get is details, and I'm putting you in the lottery. We had a lot of people that were selected in the last year, and they had their own employers details. They provided us with, and we put them in the lottery. And you can see when my colleague was running the show, if you say you have a company, you can see that the 300 is going to be offered. That means you're providing us all the details, and in the lottery you go. So what that company is doing for you is, this company you've partnered with,
so it's not about I
studied
studied biochemistry and being petrochemical and medicine and surgery. No, it's not about any of that. They just meet all of the requirements to put you in the lottery. That was why I called it a placement, not a job offer. So at the point where you now get selected, that is where we now get into the petition phase to look into what you do and draft it into what the company does. And I can tell you that I had my colleague is here working on the petition process. I used to work at what I can guarantee you is this lottery process, because even if the president of the US enters into it, he might not be selected. It's a lottery. But what I can tell you is I work with the best league of attorneys. So if you're selected, then you're as good as coming into the US, provided that all of the details you told me you add as a minimum requirement is true. The passport, yes, very, very important question. You can use that to get into the pool, but take note that you will need to start working on a renewal, because it's more like you're shooting yourself in the foot when you want to go for the consular processing after you have been approved. But take note that you will need to start working on a renewal, because it's more like you're shooting yourself in the foot when you want to go for the consular processing after you've been approved. Okay, so the requirement for the wife, I don't think the H-4 allows the spouse to work. No, it only allows the spouse to come into the country. Okay, so, or Mr. Wale, do you think, does the H-4 dependent? No, the H-4 dependent cannot work. They can only come into the country together. The children can go to school and all of that, but they are not allowed to work. No, the H-4 dependent cannot work. They can only come into the country together. The children can go to school and all of that. Great question. They are not allowed to work. Very great question. So, just like I tell a lot of my special talent clients as well that come on that, we have a lot of remote jobs these days. That the reason why we say you cannot work is, don't forget that whatever you're going into the US to do has an employee identification number attached to that company that allows you to work, and your spouse does not have that. So as long as that job is on a license, your spouse cannot do it. But if you're, for example, if your spouse works with Chevron and is on a remote work, he can do that while he's over there. If it's a coach, if it's a motivational speaker, any of that, he can do his remote job over there as long as it doesn't need a license to operate. And we always advise your spouse can also go to school within that period. Motivational speaker, any of that, he can do his remote job over there as long as it doesn't need a license to operate. And we always advise your spouse can also go to school within that period.
Good morning. So my question is...
Oh, so you're talking about the petition phase. Great. Congratulations on your selection in advance. So you've been selected. Now you come on to the petition phase. The petition phase costs, at the moment, $8,250. Reason is because the USCIS recently increased the rates on some of the forms to be selected. Some of the forms, sorry, yes. $250. And I think the only additional payment you might need would be grading your credential evaluation. Thank you. That validation, how much does it cost? It's not $65? Yes.
Number 3.
8,250 plus 65 has not even gotten to 8,400.
Number...
Yes. And I'm glad, I think one of our selections mentioned that it is the cheapest route right now to the US. I can tell you how much students pay.
All right, number 3.
So I was going to registration. What?
So I think what we would have to work around would be, because you have initially paid it and you selected a company, right? Which has gone to that company. If it had not gone, I would have told you, okay, before registration, I can always do a tract. So that's the thing about automated payments. Each, payment goes into the right quarters at the point of payment. So there's almost nothing I can do.
Service has been done already.
It's been rendered. Yes.
That's what it means.
But if you now say maybe on the back end, I don't know if that can be automated. That okay, I don't want to use Infranover or Covenworks. I want to use my own company Now that is going to be creating a mail trail with you, letting us know that you are authorizing this. That means we have a written document stating you are the one authorizing that you want your company putting in for you. Then we request for the details.
All right, number 4.
Hello. Yeah.
Good morning.
My question goes this way. I want you to briefly narrate the steps you take right from registration and getting into the pool and getting a job placement and all that. Yeah, and then that's one, just to narrate, brief narration of the process. Then, secondly, I would like to know what you stand to gain if you say you have to get an employer and yours is just a job placement. Is there going to be a salary put on the job placement or not? So what do you stand to gain? Because you still have to get an employer yourself, right? You're not going to help us to get jobs. It's a placement, as you said. So, and then, thirdly, I want to know, you said it's a lottery. So what are we after? That's what I want to know. What do you want to win? Because the lottery is, everybody is here to win. What do we stand to gain and what do you stand to win? Thank you.
Good morning. Okay, so a short brief of the video. I know, do you want to take that while I take the other questions? Yeah.
Okay, so to answer the first question about like the stages that are involved in this process, basically there are 3 main stages. First one is the lottery, second one is the petition filing, and then the third is your consular stage. Third is the consular after your petition has been approved. So first stage, they put you in the lottery. What do you get to gain? There's one goal. You're trying to move to the US, right? There are different parts of moving to move into the US. You're just picking H-1B as that path to move to the US, right? So you tell us, oh yes, I'm trying to enter into the lottery. You give us your details. We put you in the lottery. As my colleague mentioned earlier, it's a lottery. It's very random. So even if the president of the US did put himself in the lottery, there's a chance that he's not going to get selected because that's just as random as it is. What's the second?
Question was the job placement. So the US states that the reason why it became a lottery, it was a visa initially, but then they started having over the cap numbers of people to be approved for this visa. Don't forget that it is recently capped at 65,000. So they started having they started having visa entries going into their 500,000, 700,000. So they came about, how do we select without being, partial, being this? Then they put it to a cap of 65,000. They made it a lottery, put it at a cap of 65,000 selections across, and they put another cap of 20,000 for those who had their masters within the US. So if you studied within the US, if anyone knows the US education system, you know that you have your 2 years masters, then they grant you maybe like a 12-month OPT. After your 12-month OPT, then it's either you go back to your home country or you move on to a more permanent pathway. So if you get a job in that process, that's where you see people saying, I got a job and my employers were willing to file for me. So for people that are in their home countries, for example, maybe you're doing a remote job and you got an employment over there, you have a visa that can bring you into the US. Now, I'm saying you want to go to the US, you do not currently have a job. However, there are companies that have certificates that can bring you into the US, because it's not like a Nigerian company that you just register. I have a Nigerian registered company and I meet papers. No. There is a difference between having a registered company and having a labor certified company. So you can have a company that has an entity of just 2 people, you, the CEO, and the COO. And there are companies that meet labor certification that they can employ just a minimum of 10. And there are some that you meet the Microsofts, you meet the Amazons that can employ above 100 because they made the labor certification of that 100. And don't forget that tax also implies, as they say, they meet that labor certification. So that's why you need to have companies that can employ as much number. That's why you see that we just have 2 people there, verified, vetted, that can employ the number of people that we are willing to take into the pool. So what you stand to gain with that employment is, I'm giving you a placement. You don't have a job right now. I have a company that is willing to give you a placement to come into the US. So it's more like a leeway into the US. Now, another thing is we're going to put a salary on it. I think that was your third question, right? Don't forget that we asked for your resume. There are a lot of, there are still processes within that company that you have selected, in Infranova or Coven Works, that they will be asking you for. They will ask you for your resume with your passport. The resume, they want to know your job experience. If you tell me you have 6 years of job experience, they know the salary rate you're going to be on, and it has to be in USD and your country's. So they are going to be the one to actually vet that, to be sure that you have to be, you can be on that particular company. And they are going to be the one to put the salary rate. Now, you don't even get into all of that until you have been selected. So the goal is getting you this company to put you in that placement. That's it. Before you now come into all of these worries. So the goal is getting selected for. That's why I said I don't have any guarantee about your selection. The only thing I have a guarantee, and I boast about it, is that I have the best legal attorneys. As long as every requirement you said you had, it is true that you have it. As long as you're selected, provide me with them and see your petition being written. By the USCIS. I have Kenyan registrants. I have Rwandan registrants. I have Ghanaian registrants. I have people that are registering from Cameroon. I have people registering within the US. Current students who are on OPT or who are not on OPT, but they're qualified for this process and they want to go on it because they have their bachelor's degree, they're just on master's. So they also qualify to be in the pool. They can't work. No, it benefits married. So the goal is you want to go with your family, right? You want your spouse to work. Then that means you have to choose a better pathway that allows you and your spouse to work. This doesn't allow your spouse or your kids to work. Exactly. So that is why I am extending an invitation to the Going Global event this evening at 4 p.m. You'll be speaking with myself, the CEO himself will be on ground. Then we'll be talking about other pathways that we call special talent pathways. Yes.
All right. The next person, number 5, I guess.
Thank you. I want to ask.
I think you are the best candidate you are one of the best candidates for the 4 p.m. meeting. So if you can make it for 4 p.m., I will advise that you do. Because it's going to be physical, it's quite exclusive, it's for global entrepreneurs, basically.
So I want to really encourage you, I don't know where you have come from, and you to please 4 p.m. this evening, same venue. The CEO himself, the co-founder, speaking and talking about this the whole conversation about going global and every other pathways, in particular in respect to the special talent visas for entrepreneurs, founders, and people doing exceptionally well in their chosen endeavors. So we'll be going into the nitty-gritty about those pathways by 4 p.m. But this particular event was specifically for the H-1B visa lottery. I hope we're clear.
However, for the H-1B, except there are now, because there are things being put in place, but I don't know how far along we can do that. Reason is because the window for the H-1B is very, very short. From the minute you're selected, everything has a deadline. Your petition has a deadline. Once you are selected, your consular processing, all of that at the deadline. So the deadline for payment is quite close. So if there is going to be option for funding for the H-1B, definitely we'll communicate that via mail, and we'll make sure that people have it. But don't forget that this the loan we have right now is collateralized, and landed properties, cars. If you meet they have the eligibility criteria. If you meet the eligibility criteria, you're provided with a fund almost immediately, and then we get started.
All right, number 5, right?
Still on number 5.
The stage 3. Because I just got, when someone just pulled water thousands of So I was really like shocked.
Okay. I think I'm going to use.
Then number two, I'm saying 715. Is it 715 now?
It's only a demo.
Yeah,
it's
but
1,000. The reason why we had to cross out that 1,000 was I know I'm going to have voucher owners in this particular room so that they can be sure that if they see it that way popping up on the dashboard, they are not surprised. It's only for them. Any other person outside you, you can show your friend what they will see on their own dashboard is $1,000. But because you have a discount voucher being entered into it with a unique link, that's why you're getting a 715.
Yes. And sweet. So if then like watch
So again, no, but then I'll give you an. So one thing I would say, number one, follow Vesti on social media. This what we are doing here. We have done several virtual sessions of this online, and we stream them on our YouTube page. In fact, I can assure you that virtually everything you have had here today, and you will still hear later in the evening. You go on our YouTube page and you check some of the titles of the sessions we've had in the past. They have answered some of those questions here. So again, I would advise that you look out for our Going Global events that we typically do at different cities across the globe. Just 2 weeks ago, like you mentioned, we were in Manchester Global, essentially. For this evening's event, I would advise you a YouTube page and an Instagram for this, to coming up with another event like this in Abuja, subsequently in Ibadan. Like we typically take it upon ourselves to go to these cities and come in contact with people that are interested in these pathways. So it's our own way of giving back. Apart from, because if you meet us online or you are reaching out to us, you'll be paying for a clarity to speak with an immigration attorney on the team. Or we take it upon ourselves to come to this and engage the people that are typically interested in these pathways. And it's free session all along. You ask us questions, we answer your questions, we walk you through the process, essentially. So I want to really crave your indulgence. If you can make it by fine, but then you can check us on our YouTube and watch all the videos, the resources, contents that we've uploaded there before that answer some of the pertinent questions that you may have. I don't know if there's still anybody with question while we wrap up this session. Okay.
We had, on a statistical base, over 58% reaching out that I only watched that session once. I have question. Can you call back the attorney? If anybody has ever worked with a U.S. attorney, you know that their times are billed. And there is no time you want to meet with them. It's a billable hour you will pay. So we had to create this platform where the call is imprinted. If you have any, you can walk through. I didn't hear what you said. You will go and replay it again. You hear it. And when you have any question, you can fire a mail across. Then another thing is the petition phase is not stage 3, it's stage 2. The petition phase, okay, somebody tells you that I qualify for your lotto or whatever they do here because I am a house owner and you want to outfit my entire houses. And after the draw is done, you're one of the lucky winners. Now the person tells you that, okay, you told me that you are a house owner. I'm sure they will ask you for the landed properties, right? They will ask you for the details, detailing that the land is in your name, the house it's built upon, it's in your name, and when I'm outfitting the right house, Abby, and the address that you put in there. That's just the same way this particular H-1B is. There are minimum requirements. I asked that, do you have a BSc? You said yes. I asked for your resume, at least you need about 3 years of work experience. You have all of that. You said yes. Do you have a company willing to employ you into the US? That is a company bringing you into the US. Don't forget, you said yes. Now I select you. You have to present with me all of these evidences. Not just take, this is my resume, take. It has to be well written together and showing me why you deserve to be selected. Because after that draw, don't forget there will still be a lot of draws. You need to show to me that, okay, after all of this, I deserve to be selected and brought into the US because you would need a visa. It's from a country to a country. So that petition phase is what costs $8,250. Yes. So there is a time frame. From the time you're selected, I think they give, my colleague can give, I think they give an estimated 90 days to submit the petition. An estimated 90 days to put all of, that's why I tell you I work with the best league of attorneys, because I cannot count the number of, let me speak pidgin. Now my life when I write like this. They'll put it together, you go through the petition and they submit it.
Now, let's say I've been selected and I'm on the okay, now I've been selected and I have to provide 8,000 plus. Okay, if I don't have it, I lose my selection. So why bother spend 715 when I know very well as I'm have the 8,000?
I think that is why you need to give Vesti a round of applause, where you have agents who are willing to collect this initial. I know of a company that charges, because my friend who later got denied, actually, and there was a class reunion and she was telling me about it, did not know, and spent an initial $2,000. Okay, after selection, they now said, okay, you're supposed to pay 9,500 for me to put all of it together. Shockingly, she even paid, but she wasn't selected. Now we have laid everything out on a clean slate. If you still, I think is one of the plain things, integrity, because it's one of the tenets we have, integrity and trust, to lay it out open before you, to be sure you know what you're going through. And once you register, you would see on that particular video where the attorney would typically take you through all of it and take you through the payment processes.
All right. We are trying to wrap up this session. I hope this will be the last question. Yes, we have that understanding. I know this is an information session, but I've been trying to get everybody ask your questions. That's why you are here in the first instance. So I don't know if there's still any other person that wants to ask questions. Please don't be shy. Feel free to let us know so we can still accommodate you and wrap up this session. Apart from me, any other person, you. That will be all for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think this question was answered earlier, but I just want to be sure. You said if peradventure, yes, you that you studied a particular course, you need to have like call it a track record of experience, like actually playing in that field of study. If you are now playing in another field, you don't bother, you don't need to further apply or something. Like, practical example, I studied accounting in school. As of today, I play in the tech industry. No line, nothing that joins me with accounting anymore. So I can't go with this H-1B visa.
Thank you for the question. So I'll just like to clarify that the H-1B visa is known as a specialty occupation, right? So our senior financial analyst, right? But for you that you've moved to tech, obviously your CV is going to be showing the job experiences that you've had so far in the tech industry. Say you're working as a product manager, for example. So we're going to present you as a technical product manager. You don't necessarily have to work in the line of what your bachelor's degree is saying. Your bachelor's degree is just the minimum requirement that you need for them to put you in the lottery.
All right. That answers your question, right? All right.
Okay, so my one is a little bit diverting small. I wanted to aspect the school route, probably the master. Let's say, for example, one want to apply for master in the US. So, what is the university? What will he benefit with university in terms of applying for school route? And then the waste evaluation aspect, do you do that and how does it go about it?
All right. That is in respect to education pathway. So that's one of the services we offer at Vesti, education pathway. And all you need to do is to engage us on that line to say you are interested in the education route. You want to study in the US or you want to study in UK or Canada, any of them. And for this education pathway, it's so interesting the fact that we have our financing for it. So, for instance, you want to study in, that's not why we're here, but I'm just trying to answer your question. So, for instance, you want to study in the US or Canada, you can access study loan to the tune of about $100,000, from $2,000 to $100,000. And you don't start paying until after you've completed your schooling. And it spans towards a 10 years repayment period. And you pay back the loan, essentially. That's one. That's for the school. That's for the loan. Also, we've seen a lot of people that want to take advantage of different pathways that we have on our platform, but they don't have the immediate fund. That migration goal. So we thought about it that, oh, we're having clients, they want to start O1, they want to start H-1B, they want to start different pathways, but they don't have the money. Now you need $1,000. Or some people don't have that $1,000 to start. So we say, why not save towards that particular migration goal? Perhaps your goal may be this H-1B visa, but you don't even have the fund right now. And you have learned about the information today. And you are thinking in your mind, okay, this is a good one. I will take advantage of this opportunity next year. But already you know in your mind that you cannot join this particular H-1B window. So you can start saving towards that goal intentionally on the platform, on the Vesti app. So it can be that you'll be saving perhaps $200,000, 200,000 naira every month on the Vesti app. That's a migration savings account that we have on the Vesti app. So intentionally you are saving 200,000 naira, 200,000 naira. I tell you, by next year, when the next H-1B visa window, lottery window opens, you are positioned to apply. And then you are not going to be saying that you don't have the fund for that particular migration. I hope you have a question. What I'm telling you is that you can leverage the migration savings. It's called Saving by Vesti on the Vesti app. You can leverage that same particular migration goal over time. Yes. Then for the study route, I talked about the loan. Study loans, study in UK, or Canada, and start the process, and we're able to help you through that process. Let me allow.
Okay, so I wanted to take note of that saving. I'm very, very glad, but kindly note that rate applies. The USCIS is on a rampage these days, and they change their policies, maybe because of the upcoming elections anyways. So policies are changing. Recently, I used to say by the day, but now it's by the hour. You can get an update at any point. So kindly know that as you're saving, the rates might change. Thank you.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of the Q&A session. It has been sorry? You have a question? All right. I'll take that as the last question for the day.
But like to answer your question, none of the companies, like I said, specialty occupation. So none of the companies do anything related to health.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's my singular honor to really congratulate you for staying to the end of this session. A wonderful time. Can we appreciate ourselves, like clap for ourselves? You've been a wonderful audience. Like I said earlier, this is really, really amazing. I really that everybody here